Good afternoon. My name is Tom Kalinowski. I'm the Director of Technology and Operations for Colonial Intermediate Unit 20. Today is February 3rd, 2021. This is Tech Tips episode number 74. These next couple of tech tips are going to focus on how schools, or anyone for that matter, can set up an event registration. We have multiple workshops that we host. This time around, those workshops are going to be virtual. We're not getting everyone together at this point in time. So we needed a way to not only take that registration, but to then get the connection information out to the attendees. So ultimately, what we'd like to be able to do is have the person register. They can pick a couple of different events. So for session one, which event do you want to attend? Session two, three, etc. Then upon submission of that registration form, the attendee should get an email back saying, thank you, you've registered for this event on this date. You've registered for the following sessions. And then we'd also want to make sure to include, like we'll be using Zoom in this particular case, so we'd want to make sure that we include the Zoom connection information for each of those sessions, as well as some really easy links for the attendees to click on to add those sessions to their calendar, whether they use Google Calendar or Outlook or O365. We want them to be able to click on one link to add each of those sessions to their calendar. So these next couple of tips are going to focus on how to do exactly that. So to get started, the first thing, which you all have probably have done a million times before, is just create a Google form. There's nothing special about this Google form. Just your basic information. It's collecting that email address and name. There's some multiple choice questions for the different sessions, and that's all I have in here. You could certainly collect more information or less information. That's totally up to you. Okay, and then the next thing, if you go ahead and click on responses and then click on the sheet, you'll be brought to this sheet. Again, this sheet looks very familiar. The sheet's automatically generated from the form. I added a couple of additional headers at the end here. So after the session 4, you could see that I added session 1 Zoom link, and then session 1 Google, O365 and Outlook, and session 2 Zoom link, session 2 Google, O365 Outlook, so on and so forth, up to session 4. Nothing special about those particular titles. Those are just the titles that I'm going to use to hold that respective information. The Zoom link column is going to hold the link to the actual Zoom session. We're going to populate that automatically. And then each of these columns, Google, 365, and Outlook, are going to contain clickable images that we're going to create on the fly that are going to ultimately be embedded in that email. And it's just going to repeat for each of the sessions. So to get started, after you created each of those additional headers over there, you're going to want to create a repository of your different sessions. So in this example, I just listed the top session for each time period. So if we go back to my form, I put career readiness in there, leading with purpose, etc. Ultimately, you're going to need to do this for every session, but for example purposes, I just did the first session for each time frame. After that, you're going to want to go ahead and create a bunch of Zoom meeting links. And you don't have to use Zoom. You can use Google Meet or any other platform you might use, but we do need to get those links. Zoom does prevent one user from having multiple simultaneous sessions. So what I would recommend that you do is have a couple of different accounts create the sessions. So for instance, over here, when we're looking at all of our sessions, one account could create career readiness, and then leading with purpose, and then we equals hired, etc. That way, all of those sessions are over different time frames. Therefore, you won't run into the problem of having two concurrent Zoom sessions, and then another account can create the second ones and the third ones, etc. I know it might be a little tedious, but that's one way to get multiple links created for the different Zoom sessions. So after you put all of the Zoom links in there, and again, you'll have to do that for every session that you're going to be holding, we need to create the calendar links for each of those. I don't know if any of you have ever been to a website where you've registered for something and you see on the website there's a quick way to save that invite to your calendar. That's what we're going to do here. But we need to create the hyperlink to do that. So there's an easy way to do that, and I have the link in this document that I'll share with you. It looks like labnol, and sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, labnol.org. So if we go there, what it does is it allows you to do just exactly that, create add to calendar links. So you can go ahead and type in your event title, okay? You could type in your event location, okay? And for event location, you would copy and paste in whatever that Zoom URL was for that particular event. Specify your start date and time, end date and time. If you want, you can even put an event description in there. And then what you would do is see where it says here, add the calendar and Google. We would copy that, okay? And then we would go back to our spreadsheet and paste that right in here, okay? And then we would do the same thing for all of the other calendars that you want to support. You don't need to support them all. You could just do Google if you wanted to. But if you wanted to give people some choice or suspected that your users might use these different platforms, I would recommend you go ahead and do it. So you can just click on Outlook, copy, and then go back over here, okay, and paste that Outlook link in. And the same thing with O365. Go ahead and click that, copy, go back over here, and paste that in. That way you have all of the links for all of the different calendar platforms. And again, you would need to do that for each session, okay? And to test it really quick, if we go ahead and click on this first one and click on the link that comes up, okay, you can see that it works. So it adds the title, it adds the correct time, puts that Zoom link in the location field, and all the user would have to do is click save. Okay. So that's all we're going to cover in today's session. Not too difficult. In the next session, what we're going to do is show you how we can go ahead and create those clickable links that people can use to embed in an email to add to their calendar, as well as how you're going to dynamically put that Zoom information in an email. We're going to set the groundwork for that. So I hope you found this tip valuable. Make sure to hit that subscribe button at the bottom. That way, once I release the next session, you'll be the first to know, and you can continue to follow along. Thanks a lot. See you later.